Every sunrise you witness is a warning. You are one day closer to the grave. Every heartbeat you feel is a drumbeat marching you toward your end. You were born under a death sentence, and every breath you take is a borrowed gift. The weak close their eyes to this truth. They numb themselves with distractions, pretend that youth will last forever, pretend that time is something owed to them. But Marcus Aurelius faced this truth without flinching. He looked death in the eye every morning and sharpened his soul against it. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Not someday. Now the coward delays life. He waits for the perfect moment, the safer day, the better opportunity. And in doing so, he dies a slow, pathetic death, long before his body ever touches the dirt. He postpones his greatness until greatness becomes impossible. His dreams rot in the attic of his mind, gathering dust until even he forgets what they once were. His life is not stolen from him. He surrenders it by 1,000 cowardly hesitations. You must not move like the coward. You must live with death breathing down your neck. You must act as if every decision might be your last, because one day it will be. When you realize the blade is already at your throat, hesitation evaporates. You no longer wait for permission to become who you are meant to be. You no longer waste your soul arguing, pleasing, chasing hollow victories. You strip your life down to its barest, most savage form. Action, principle, truth. Nothing else matters. Nothing else survives. The weak talk about their dreams. The strong bleed for them now. The weak hope time will stretch endlessly. The strong know time is a shrinking fire. The weak waste years on apologies and excuses. The strong move as if today's breath might be the last song their spirit ever sings. Every hour wasted is a wound you inflict on yourself. Every delayed action is a betrayal. Every moment spent worrying about the opinions of worms is a moment you could have spent carving your name into eternity. Death demands a price, and if you have spent your life cowering, it will collect every dream you buried, every ambition you smothered, every greatness you refused to claim. You must build your life like a fortress under siege, every stone placed with urgency, every decision made under the shadow of mortality, every breath taken with the knowledge that it might be your last. You do not have time to waste. And that is not a curse. That is your liberation. When you live ready to die, you move differently. You speak boldly because you know you may never speak again. You fight harder because you know every battle could be your last. You love fiercely because you know that good hearts are rare and mortal. And when the reaper finally comes, you will not tremble. You will not beg. You will not weep for more time, because you lived as if every second was sacred. You will meet death with a warrior's grin, scars gleaming, soul burning, legacy echoing across time like thunder. Most men are terrified of death because they have not truly lived. They fear the end because their lives are nothing but a collection of compromises, regrets, and half-finished battles. Their souls are haunted not by death itself, but by the things they left undone. The wars unfought, the words unsaid, the love withheld out of cowardice. And so, when death approaches, they do not stand tall. They kneel, weeping for a second chance they no longer deserve. But the man who lives ready to die walks a different path. He does not flinch before the inevitable. He moves through life like a man already counted among the dead, unafraid, unburdened by the fear of loss or the temptation of delay. His spirit is a blade honed daily by the certainty that the clock is always ticking, that tomorrow is a lie whispered by cowards. Marcus Aurelius taught the clearest truth. It is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live. Death itself is not the enemy. Death is the spark that makes life sacred. Death is the final fire that judges whether you used your time well or squandered it like a fool chasing dust. Every second you waste pretending you are immortal is a second you spit on the very gift you were given. You must wake each day and ask yourself, if today were the last, would I be proud of how I moved, how I fought, how I spoke, how I loved, how I built? And if the answer is anything less than a brutal yes, you must change your path with the fury of a man whose home is already on fire. Living ready to die is not living in despair. It is living with savage clarity. You see the vanity of petty arguments and leave them behind. You see the hollowness of fame and fortune and refuse to trade your soul for applause. You see the preciousness of loyalty, honor, and brotherhood, and you protect them with your blood. When you live ready to die, your time is no longer cheap. Your actions are no longer casual. Your words are no longer thrown like leaves into the wind. Everything you do carries the weight of finality, and that weight makes you unstoppable. You will not chase the approval of cowards. You will not fear the loss of those who never understood your fire. You will not waste yourself trying to fix a world that does not deserve your salvation. Instead, you will build. You will forge. You will carve your life into a monument that death itself must pause before toppling. Understand this. The man who lives ready to die cannot be manipulated. He cannot be bought, bribed, seduced, or threatened. His power comes from the brutal truth that he has already surrendered everything that can be taken from him except his will. And that will is untouchable. When betrayal strikes, you endure. When failure comes, you adapt. When death whispers, you laugh and move harder. Because you know, deep in your bones, that every step you take is a step carved against the void, a step the cowards will never have the courage to follow. This is the 16th doctrine of Marcus Aurelius. You do not postpone greatness. You do not kneel before fear. You do not waste the sacred fire of your life. You rise each day with the reaper at your side, daring him to keep up. You forge your deeds in urgency. You speak your truth without hesitation. You love and fight with the full force of a man who knows he owes nothing to tomorrow. And when the final moment comes, you will not be found wanting. You will stand, eyes clear, spirit burning, life lived to the edge of its blade. You will live ready to die. And because of that, you will have truly conquered death itself.